Far too many podcasters cede control of the narrative of their episodes to their subject. Here's how to take that power back, make better episodes, and wind up with even more content to share. Hello and welcome to another podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. Earlier this year, I picked up a line from Tom Webster of Edison Research. Know who you are for and why you are there. I think about that all the time, honestly, and it's really helped me better refine what I do here on this podcast, which, in turn, I hope, has given you more value from the show. So it's with that concept in mind, knowing who you are for and why they are there, that I want to talk about another concept, one of content creation. Lots of podcasters struggle with content creation and often wind up with less than strategic approaches when they're pressed to come up with the idea for an episode. Sometimes that comes out in an interview that feels forced, or maybe it's a topic that doesn't quite exactly line up with what the audience really anticipated. See, the core problem here is that the podcaster allows the subject to dictate the narrative. But you can fix that. If you go back to that statement, know who you are for and why they are there. That means knowing, deeply knowing, who your audience is and what they expect. And here's a great power move for you. If you know deeply what your audience wants, then you can shape almost any subject into a narrative that your audience wants to hear. Got a crappy guest pitch, but maybe that guest has a solid social following that could really help expose your show to more listeners? Well, book it, but you have to control the narrative. Here's an actual pitch that I received not long ago. Before Matt went to his current company, he spent 29 years as CEO of a former company. During that time, he took them from $1 million annual recurring revenue to over $100 million. He's also the author of a book, a #1 bestseller in the self-help category. The book tells the story of how suddenly becoming a single father of 5 children made Matt a better person, leader, entrepreneur, and, as you would hope, parent. Now, instead of asking or wondering, if you will, whether or not Matt would make a good guest on your show, ask a better question. Can you pull stories out of Matt that your audience wants to hear? Now, granted, Matt is looking to pitch his book on your show, but you, as the podcaster, have ultimate control over the narrative. And you know your audience and what your audience expects. Now, there's a lot of things to work with in that phrase. His business experience from startup to midsize, the process of publishing a book, fatherhood, being single, raising 5 kids, leadership. That's actually a lot for you to work with. And again, if you know what your audience wants and you are in control of the narrative, you can make it work. It's not just about the guest. The same approach also works for more than just pitches. Knowing your audience and being in charge of the narrative lets you build a show for almost every trending topic. Like, I don't know, topically, it's Halloween. So let's say that you do a healthcare and patient advocacy podcast, like Danny's podcast, Health Hats. That's what his show's about. Maybe an episode could be inspired by, the idea of Halloween. We dress up in silly costumes. Maybe how being playful is as an adult helps better medical outcomes. Maybe. Perhaps you have a real estate podcast like my friend Bill and his Real Estate Sessions show. Why not feature a realtor who puts up those haunted houses signs on their listings, or maybe those that specialize in really bizarre, almost horror-like houses? Or what if you did a hyper-local show like Keith from Always West Seattle? Episodes on the best places to trick-or-treat, or the biggest haunted attractions, or spotlighting a business known for going all in on the holiday would be great. Each one of them are covering the same topic, Halloween, but with their vastly different narratives. Narratives that the podcasters control because they know their audience better than, well, anyone. You're the podcaster. You're in control of the narrative. You're in control of your listeners' experiences. Never forget that. We do some quick housekeeping for those of you who are looking at the calendar, noticing that November, the beginning of Evo's long winter's nap, is just around the corner. Well, remember that week I took off at the beginning of this month when I went off to Belize? Look, I'm not shortchanging you, nor am I shortchanging my sponsor for the month. I have 2 more full weeks. That's 8 more episodes of Podcast Pontifications in the works. My break won't actually start until November, well, the second week of November, let's say. So you've more time to spend with me. Yay! But that also means I have a few short weeks to convince you to go to podcastpontifications.com/value for value and lend your support to the program. And hey, let's end with a new kind of boostagram.
Now it's time for the Boostagram Corner.
Boostagram Corner.
I don't know a thing about crypto.
Casey Broda left me a lovely message on Podchaser on an episode. Yeah, she reviewed an episode, the one that was entitled Authentic Podcasting is the Best Self-Care. Here's what she said. Just in case the people in the back didn't hear, if you aren't your authentic self in a podcast, then it may end up hurting you in the audience department. This was a great reminder for people podcasting for all the wrong reasons, because your podcast isn't going to go anywhere meaningful unless you put meaning into your podcast. Wow. Nice summary, Casey. Thank you very much for the kind words and leaving the review on Podchaser. That's it. No episodes from me on Friday because I don't do episodes on Friday. So, with that, I shall be back on Monday with yet another Podcast Pontifications. Cheers.